Thank you so much for Dr. Guo's kindly introductions. Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. Yeah. And last week we discussed clinical trials and physicians' opinion in regulatory approval processes. And this week I will focus on a little bit more post-marketing, which is recall. So this article is a retrospective regulatory analysis of FDA's recall by drug companies from 2012 to 2023. And I'm Ding Chen. You can just call me Ding. So this is the article. And I will have an introduction first, then go to the method, results, and then discussions. So, the FDA, they protect public health by monitoring quality, safety, and efficacy for drugs, devices, cosmetics, and food. And they may take some actions to achieve that. One of them is recall. Recall is removing a pharmaceutical product from the market due to some like safety concerns or violating regulations. Usually arise from adverse events or product defects. So the goal is to reduce the risk associated with harmful products. The FDA's role here is to monitor recall strategy and to assess the effectiveness of the recall. But however, the literature research in FDA's recalls and the reasons are limited. Hence, this review analyzed FDA's recall carried out by drug companies from June 2012 to August 2023 and give us some insights. I don't know how many of you guys already finished quality courses. So I will have a quick review about that. So the recall can classify into three classes based on the harm severity. With the number goes down, the risk goes up. So for class 1 is the harmful product may cause some fatal or serious health consequences to consumers. For class 2 is maybe just some reversible health consequences, or the chances for fatal consequences are unlikely. For class 3 is which the product may not cause any negative health effects to the consumers. So, yeah. And there are two types of recall. So the first one is voluntary recall, which may prompt by an incident that could affect product's quality and safety. For example, the products fail to meet some regulatory standards or quality standards, or their data found out that their market products may have some significant safety risk. And the second one is statutory recall, which may be ordered or instructed by either federal or state regulatory authorities. For example, illegal substances, or they broke the law to follow some standard. Okay, so methods. And authors, they gather the data from FDA's database called FDA Enforcement Report Program, and which cover a timeline period from June 2012 to August 2023. And the data they gathered include the recalling firm, country classifications, product description, and the reason and the recall of the recalls. Yeah. And based on the data they gathered, they classify into three categories, class 1, 2, 3, based on the severity of harm. And to screen the recall, they use the following 8 keywords: adverse reactions, CGMP issues, sterility, labeling, out of specification, contamination, packaging and storage, and unapproved and undeclared. Okay. So here's the results. From June 2012 to August 2023, there were about 15,710 recalls, and most of them are class 2. Okay. And like about 13,000 were class 2 recalls, followed by class 1 and class 3. And if we look into the categories I just mentioned, you can see sterility had most recalls, about 6,000, followed by manufacturer CGMP, then out of specifications, then contaminations and labeling. And those 5 contribute to about 90% of all recalls. Okay. Then if we look into this year-wise figure, you can see still sterility and CGMP had most recall. And you may notice that after over here, after 2017, there's a surge like for CGMP. The authors say that may be because of the increased standards and expectations of the regulatory authorities. Yeah. If we keep diving into each category to look into the reasons of each category, here's a pie chart of that. So for labeling, the label mix-up contributed about 70% of the labeling issue. For out of specifications, it's about the potent issues cause about like 30%. And for contaminations, is chemical contaminations, which contribute to about 40%. For sterility, is lack of assurance of sterility, is about 40%, followed by non-sterility, is about 45%. And for CGMP authors, they carefully studied these categories. There are different categories, but the result is there are four like major reasons for that, which are process control, storage, and manufacturing issues, and nitrosamine impurities, which contributed from 13% to 18% of CGMP categories of recalls. Then we go into the discussion. So in the result, the sterility is a key issue in recalls, which account for about 37% of all medication recalls. And nearly all of them classify as class 2. So like all formulations are subject to this sterility issue, but parenteral formulations are more vulnerable than others because of the sterility, sterilization's difficulty during the manufacturing process and other reasons. So authors suggest that the terminal sterilizations may be the best choice to minimize recall due to the sterility issue. But like all the techniques, staff, methods, equipments need to follow some standards. So for FDA, the standard is 21 CFR Part 11, Subpart F, and they also provide some guidance, like the guidance for stability protocol for sterile products or some container closure system testing, and a hyperlink. I put a hyperlink into the slide, so you can just click it to access the document. And there are also some standards about the particulate matters limits to avoid those particulate clog the blood vessels, which may cause some lung damage. For CGMP infractions, there are different kind of reasons, like process or something, but among those, nitrosamine impurities has received some attention. Nitrosamine is about like 30% of the reasons, and it is a carcinogens found in soil and water, and our class 1 impurities according to ICH classifications. In recent years, news like sartans, H2 blockers, and metformin, they all found nitrosamine impurities, which is like NMDA or NDEA. So to tackle this, different agencies has their own approach. For example, the EMA has implemented a plan that required companies to submit their self-evaluation report for their products. So by using this approach, they can identify the risk profile to their product, either if it's drugs or biologics. And for contaminations, both sterile and non-sterile product can be affected. And most of the source from water, but the risk for sterile product is like higher. Yeah, and the microbial contaminations is a frequent cause, which include Candida or Bacillus or Aspergillus or others. So like regulatory organizations have some standards to analyze microbial load in different dosage forms or different formulations. And the labeling is contribute about 8% of all recalls. And the reasons include label mix-up or cross-labeling. And for label mix-up is that the drugs or components are accidentally interchanged during the manufacturing processes, and which may cause patients receiving wrong drugs or dose, and maybe there's some major health consequences about that. So this can occur due to human error and equipment malfunction or have a bad quality control systems. So to fix this, regulatory authorities provide some rules to maintain manufacturer's quality system. For storage is also one of the cool. Okay, so storage is also one of the category. For example, maybe the product will keep outside of the temperature or experience some temperature fluctuations during the storage, and sponsor need to follow some standards. For FDA, it's 20 CFR Part 205.50, and there's also guidance from WHO, the good storage practice for pharmaceuticals. And also hyperlink, put a hyperlink in the slides. You can just click and access the document. Okay. And authors, they also look into the impact of recalls. It's affect a lot of aspects, such as market share, public health, supply chain, patent issues, or reputations. For example, for the recall of extended release metformin in 2020, the sales loss is about $25 million for 2021 fiscal year, and it's about $15 million for the next year. And not to mention the one-off cost for recall, which is about $10 million. So it is really a lot. And the number of the parties involved in the manufacturing process can also be challenging when you are issuing a recall, because it's really hard for companies to find out where is the problem or to pinpoint the primary source. Yeah, and like if you distribute your products to different nations, they have their own standards or regulations. This may also challenge company when they are going to recall their products. So there's some approaches to minimize the recall. Maybe a digital system that can link through the manufacturing process can, during the productions, can make it easier to point out the primary source when there's a problem, and you can take actions after you find out the source. And the second is companies need to train their staff properly, and then to let them know that the significance of the thing they are making. But although we do a lot of things may happen. It's not like 100%, right? So it's also important to build a good culture around people and to let them know it is good to raise your hand or point out just the quality issues, because have a good positive culture is our first step toward reducing recalls, followed by good staff training or have a good quality system. So you have to build a good culture first to reduce recalls. So very quick, going to the conclusion. So in the result, as we know, CGMP and sterility issues were the primary reasons for a great number of recalls. And for CGMP, process control, natural semi impurities, and manufacturing difficulties are the key sub-reasons. So this emphasizes the importance of CGMP compliance in the manufacturing processes to ensure the safety and quality of your product. And so how to do that? First, have a good culture and follow the manufacturing compliance instructions and have a good quality management systems. And last one is to keep updated with guidance materials. So for me, my conclusion is when I look into the results, so I was thinking, there's lots of issues in CGMP and sterility. So if I know CGMP well, maybe I can find a job. I don't know. But of course you can have a long career. So yeah, this is my conclusion. And yeah, this is my reference and questions.